Big break, we discussed autos and auto components in the other side. Surjit Arora from Prabhudas Lilladher is joining us.
ट्री हाउस, नन्हे कदम बड़ी उड़ान।
बारिश बहुत हो रही है, जाना जरूरी है क्या?
हाँ बाबा।
नए घर के बारे में कुछ सोचो ना।
शाम को बात करते हैं ना। हाँ वेंकी।
सर फैक्ट्री में माल पहुंच गया है, ओनर का साइन मांग रहे हैं।
देर होगी पर पहुंचूंगा जरूर। जो करते हैं दिन रात मेहनत, उन्हें हम करते हैं सलाम। तभी तो हम लाए हैं होम लोन्स की डोर स्टेप डिलीवरी आकर्षक इंटरेस्ट रेट पर, और वो भी ढेर सारी सुविधाओं के साथ। इंडिया बुल्स होम लोन्स, अब घर आ जाओ।
कितने सारे ऑप्शंस हैं यहाँ, किसके पास जाए? हाँ? ये वाला कैसा रहेगा? देखो 20% डिस्काउंट भी दे रहा है। हाँ?
नहीं, ये नहीं, चलो।
25% के साथ हॉलिडे पैकेज भी फ्री दे रहा है। यार ये सही लग रहा है। चलो
रुको, पहले ठीक से जांच तो लो। देखा, ऊंची दुकान फीके पकवान। तब चलो। व्यापार हमेशा सभी अधिकृत ब्रोकर्स के साथ। सोचकर समझकर इन्वेस्ट कर।
समझकर इन्वेस्ट कर।
NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
आज मिस्टर मेहरा का बेटा मैथ्स में फेल हो गया, इसीलिए वो सीधे गए शहर के बेस्ट ट्यूशन टीचर के पास और बोले,
तो अब ये कल से टॉप करेगा ना?
ये तो आप मानोगे कि इतनी जल्दी रिजल्ट्स नहीं मिलते, लेकिन अगर मैं यही बात आपसे इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स के लिए कहूं तो आप मानोगे? मान जाइए। अच्छे रिटर्न्स पाने के लिए टाइम दीजिए। लॉग ऑन टू janotomano.com from Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
This is NDTV and you're watching NDTV Profit in association with NSC.
Surjit Arora, equity research analyst at Prabhudas Lilladher, is with us right now. Surjit, good morning. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Prashant here. You know, I'll get to what your view on tire stocks is now, because, they've run up even more. You were on a couple of times over the last 2 months, and each time you said, well, upside is limited, another 5-7%, but they've clearly done more. We'll get to that. But I just wanted to start with the narrowing differential between petrol and diesel prices, and what implications that has. I was reading a news report in which a Fiat India executive said that Maruti has slowed down the purchase of diesel engines over the last couple of months. What are you seeing demand slowing for diesel cars? And I assume that would be negative for margins for Maruti, which is the largest producer and sells the most.
See, coming to the differential between diesel and petrol, 3 years back it was around 27-28 rupees, which has now come down to barely 9 to 10 rupees on a price differential basis. That's precisely why, diesel car demand is going down. Last 3 to 4 months we have seen some declining sales in the diesel portfolio across the companies, whereas for Maruti also, yes, diesel has taken some hit. But I need to correct you here is that if you look at Maruti per se, 65% of their volumes are still petrol. And if you look at Alto, Wagoner, Celerio, all are doing fantastically well for the company and they have been gaining market share. So if you look at April to August, Maruti volume has been up by almost 14-15% when the market has grown only by 5-6% on the overall basis. Given the fact that petrol cars are doing good and 65% of the portfolio is petrol, I don't see any major negative implications for Maruti. Given that all the new launches which are happening, like Celerio, also mainly petrol variant is selling like 3,000 to 4,000 a month, which also has a AMT option. And going forward, if you look at whether it's Toyota or whether it's Hyundai, petrol cars are doing pretty well for them. And for Maruti, despite diesel seeing some signs of slowdown, 65 to 70% is petrol, and hence their overall volume growth for the first 5 months of this fiscal is a very healthy 14 to 15%, which in my view has led to market share gains for Maruti. So I am not perturbed with the fact that diesel is slowing down, and incrementally their Gurgaon facility, which is mainly for the petrol, now the utilization also is going up there. So ideally, from an operating leverage point of view, it is healthy for the margin picture going forward.
Okay, but broadly, what is the margin that Maruti makes from a diesel car and a petrol car?
See, very frankly, if you look at diesel cars, a lot of components are imported, and hence because of the currency risk, the differential in margins is not much compared to a petrol car, though it is slightly higher. But then there is no major differential between, let's say, EBITDA margins which they command in petrol cars vis-a-vis diesel. The second thing to look at is obviously till last year, because diesel was in limelight, the discounting on diesel cars was very, very limited, whereas on petrol the discounting was quite high. Now, because diesel is not doing well, the discounts have slightly inched up on diesel. That itself nullifies any impact of higher margins on diesel cars. So that doesn't give any great picture for Maruti per se. I mean, diesel having more margins than petrol. But going forward, as I said, because the capacity utilization now in Gurgaon, which is more of a petrol denominated vehicles there, and now with growth coming in petrol cars, overall operating leverage will help Maruti to take care of any lower margins in a diesel vehicle going forward.
Maruti has been growing volumes at about 30% last couple of months. Do you think the August number specifically has been dealers stocking up ahead of the festive season?
Yeah, to a certain extent you are right. I mean, if you look at normally what happens for a company is at least a month or two prior to the festive season, they start building up inventory with the dealers. So yes, that is one thing. Other thing is, if you look at the base was very low last year same time, August. So this year you have Celerio, which is doing 5,000 to 6,000 a month, which was not there last year same time. At the same time, you have seen some pickup in Alto and WagonR, which last year were in a declining trend. So if you combine all the three factors, low base, new launches, and some inventory build up, the overall growth was 30% for the company in the month of August. However, if you look at from April to August, I think the growth has been around somewhere between 13 to 14% for the company in the domestic market.
Would you say how this festive season, the next couple of months pan out, will be crucial in determining whether...
See, our interaction with a lot of dealers on the ground level suggests that this year compared to last 2 years where we have seen negative sentiments on the ground level, this year things are turning positive, and what dealers are expecting is, at least for next couple of months, the volume momentum both in passenger car as well as two-wheeler will continue in excess of 14 to 15%. So dealers are quite upbeat about the festive mood currently, and whatever inputs we are getting from our interaction is that at least for next couple of months you will easily see double-digit 14-15% kind of volume growth both in passenger car as well as on the two-wheeler front. So I think compared to last 2 years, which have been quite tepid in terms of demand during festive season, this year we are in for better times going ahead.
Okay, all right. I want to get to tire stocks. Rubber prices continue to come off. Sujit, did you underestimate the ferocity with which prices will come off and hence the impact it will have on tire stocks, or you
Absolutely.
saw that coming but you thought valuations were just out of whack?
Yeah. Correct. I mean, if you, as I said last time also on your channel, if you look at the capex plans which all these companies have, including Apollo, JK and CEAT, they will find it difficult to generate any free cash, which was the case in FY14 where their margins were at all-time peak, rubber was at 52-week low, and there was no major capex because of the lower utilization in the capacity. But going forward, which I mentioned earlier also, with the kind of capex around 1500 crores for Apollo and almost more than 1000 crores for CEAT, I believe the free cash flow generation for these companies will be a difficult task. Yes, I agree with your point that I underestimated the rubber cost, which we were estimating at around 140 rupees a kg, and now currently it's around 120, 125. So a 1% change in rubber impacts almost 2.5% in terms of bottom line for these companies. So yes, because rubber prices have come down, the stocks have rallied further compared to our estimate. But then again, going forward, I believe whatever re-rating has happened, I mean from a low of 4 to 5 times PE, all stocks in the tire space have gone to 8 to 10 times 1 year forward PE. So already the re-ratings case has been built in. So going forward, yes, if rubber, let's say, further comes down, then obviously there will be some rally in the stocks. But purely what last 1 year where we have seen stocks going up by 3 to 4 times, that kind of performance I believe is behind us. Going forward, that kind of performance will not be repeated in terms of stock price.
A few interactions back, I remember asking you whether there was any sense at all in looking at these companies as consumer names. And hence, I mean, you could justify a slightly higher P multiple, or maybe a lot higher. And if some people are doing that, and I think, if I remember correctly, you said, well, no, you can't give those multiples. You stick with that?
Yeah, see, the consumer companies, if you talk about FMCG, they trade at 30-35 times, whereas auto in a recovery cycle at best goes to 18 to 20 times, and in a down cycle it goes to 10 to 12 times. So if you look at, let's put a case in point of Maruti and Hero in the uptick cycle, which now we are currently in, where their volumes are growing double digit, normally they should trade at 18 to 20 times and not to the peak valuation of FMCG, which is around 30 times. So if you look at current valuation, my numbers, Maruti is trading at some 18.2 times FY16 and Hero is around some 16 times FY16. So still, I would say there is some space in terms of further re-rating to around 18 to 20 times 1 year forward. But as you rightly pointed out, I mean, comparing them with a FMCG which trades at 30 times, I think that will be a futile exercise, because if you, for assumption, if you take 30 times 1 year forward, then actually Maruti should trade at almost 4,000 bucks instead of 2,900 now. So that is a unjustified kind of a multiple given, because end of the day, auto is more competitive and more cyclical compared to FMCG. FMCG is very steady state kind of a growth story, where auto is a cyclical bout, where 2-3 years you see a downturn, which we have seen till FY14, and next 2 years now you will see a recovery where double-digit volume growth is a possibility. So yes, in a recovery cycle the multiples do inch up, but let's say from 14-15 times, at best they can go to 20 times and not 30-40 times, which is the case with FMCG. I mean, just to put things in context, if you look at Nestle or Colgate, already they are at 35 times 1 year forward, whereas Maruti is still at 18. So that doesn't mean that Maruti also will trade at 30, but yes, from 18 times it might go to 20-21 times, given that the growth in volumes is very high, and my own estimate of profitability growth for Maruti over next 2 years are almost 32% CAGR. So at 32% CAGR, I will not be surprised if these companies like a Hero or a Maruti, which have 30% growth, might trade at some 20 times 1 year forward. But expecting them to trade at, let's say, 30 times, which is equivalent to a FMCG company, looks difficult at this point of time, given the cyclicality nature of the business in the auto sector.
Okay, if it go anywhere near 30 times, we would surely be in pretty much a bubble. Surjit, what are your top ideas in the sector now? Is there anything left with meaningful upside?
See, in the frontline stocks are, you say target price will be limited to 12 to 15% from current levels. And we, in the front line, we still like Maruti and Hero because they are gaining market share and the volume momentum is strong. In the auto ancillary, we have discussed earlier also Motherson Sumi. So Motherson Sumi remains our top pick. And one more stock which we had discussed earlier was LG Balkrishnan and Brothers. That time it was like 400 bucks. Now it's around 680, 690. I still believe LG Balkrishnan and Brothers is still trading at 10 times 1 year forward. So there could be some further upside there. So for Motherson and LG, there could be still 20-25% upside, whereas as you rightly pointed out in the front line, the cream is not there. I mean, it might be a 10 to 12% kind of upside, and within that space we still continue to like Maruti and Hero, because we believe going forward the volume momentum in these particular companies will continue to be very strong. And last point on Hero is that if you look at Honda, they are facing some capacity constraint, and that's why if you look at the August month figures for motorcycles, it is tepid 6.3% growth for Honda. vis-a-vis Hero, which has grown at more than 20%. So what I'm trying to hint here is the momentum for Hero, given the fact that their product portfolio is strong and given that now Honda is also facing some capacity constraint, I believe both Hero and Maruti would continue to surprise on the upside in terms of volumes. And once volumes start kicking in, you will also see operating leverage and hence margins also improving for these companies. So yes, there will not be a meaningful upside, but a 10 to 12% upside in a large cap like a Maruti and Hero could not be ruled out. And in ancillary space, we continue to stick to Motherson Sumi and followed by LG Balkrishna and Brothers, which currently is around 1,000 crore market cap.
Okay, those are your picks, Surjit. Thanks very much for coming on. It's a pleasure talking to you and getting those things across. Let's take a quick break. Back in 2.